Hello everybody. Welcome back once more to Dungeon Crawl. And welcome to the Cat of Nine Tails set. Legend has it that long ago there was a powerful wizard that lived among us on this very earth. He roamed the lands as a powerful conjurer and summoner, creating vast armies and using magic as he wished. His name was Zap, and he died unceremoniously when he went and attempted to crawl through the dungeon. But before he died, he cast a very powerful spell. A spell of necrotic mutation that would allow him to come back to this world in another form. Unfortunately for him, the spell was a horrible miscast, and the only form he was permitted was that of an illegitimate poor cat, bound forever to this world, or at the very least until he crawled it and died 9 times. And thus began the Cat of Nine Tails run. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. For those of you who haven't seen the introduction video, I strongly recommend at least glancing at it, unless you're the kind that just wanted to get on with the action. Let's go ahead and run. I'm going to call him Mewtalisk through the dungeon. Now, as I've discussed, I'm going to run him as a Felid and as a wizard. Not just because he is a magically reincarnated cat, but also because of my intended playstyle. We're going to begin by turning off everything except spellcasting, which is going to be permanently useful to us, and summonings, which we're going to eventually put most of our points into. Note that I'm going to hyper-level spellcasting up front, because my initial damage is all going to be through magic missile, or magic dart. Off we go, and oh my god. Oh, thank god they're behind a wall. Okay, let's get started. Now, first things first. My strength is obscenely low, so that's basically where I'm going to be dumping all my stat points into. Also, I do not have any limitations with what I can eat, so I'm going to immediately try and get my food up to max. You'll already notice the benefits of being a cat. That creature did not see me, even though I was in range. Stealth is awesome. And I don't even have any points in stealth yet. 3 hit shots and almost no damage. Time to back off, get some magic back. Early game is always irritating because of this. A lot of time is spent running backwards because of miscasts. But, you know, consistency is best. Just take your time. You're the most vulnerable early game, and you will become more and more powerful as the game goes on. Frankly, the jump between level 1 and 2 gives you a lot more HP and a lot more MP. Like, right now I am 6 and 6. Watch how much I'm going to jump as soon as I level up. $10 and 8. May not sound like a lot, but I've effectively doubled my health, and I can now afford to just basically stand there and spam against enemies that before I would have had to retreat and let them regenerate health. So it's pretty nice. Also, I'm close to maxed out on food. I'm like right at the edge of full, so things are already going fairly well. Now, I've leveled up, which enables me to pick level 2 spells. The spells that I'm going to take up front are Call Imp, because this is going to end up being like my primary source of damage as the game moves on, until I get, you know, a higher level spell. I'm going to take Blink, because this is going to get me out of a jam when I most need or least expect it. And I would take Slow, but I would rather be able to take Mephitic Cloud the moment it becomes available, so I'm going to forego taking Slow for now, and pick it up later depending on my spell levels. Also, I'm going to eventually, like, want to put some more points into Conjurations just to get Mephitic Cloud up, so when it becomes available, that's going to be a priority. For those of you who did not opt to listen to my first vid, the intro vid, no matter. Ooh, yay, Ring of Wizardry, that's going to help my early game. For those of you who opted against listening to the first intro vid, the concept here is to begin the game as a conjurer before becoming a summoner, because conjurers will get the maximal benefit out of their kills, experience-wise, And Mephitic Cloud is a very nice disable spell, which makes the mid-game easier. And the opening spell book has 3 or 4, for a wizard, has multiple spells that a cat can make good use of. And now I'm just running scared right now because of a cockroach. With a knoll backing it up and with me having no health, it's actually a reasonable move. And you'll notice how I said before that I felt like they were a little bit above average speed. I'm able to stay ahead of the knoll, just barely. But ahead is just barely still better than being behind. Oh crap, I had no mana. That was a bad time to start a fight. Well, that means it's time to keep kiting. Okay. So basic tactics that I'm employing right here involve just running around in circles to regenerate mana, and it's a very reliably good idea to do this and then just keep getting off a pot shot while you can. Eventually the knoll will die, and provided nothing else comes to interrupt me, I'll be able to continue that circle ad infinitum. Conjurations. Mephitic Cloud is now available, so we'll memorize that, and I like organizing, actually, I can take slow as well now, so perfect. I got my complement of spells for the early game. That's awesome. I like organizing my spells thusly. I like Magic Dart to be on my macro for my slash key. That's ZA. I like Call Imp on my B. I like Mephitic Cloud on C, and I usually macro that to capital Z and then the letter C for my asterisk key, so I can do all of this with my right hand on the grid. And I also will like to put Blink on E and Slow on D, just because I've memorized it that way. So I'm swapping them around. Oh, I could not have picked a better time to memorize Mephitic Cloud by the looks of it. Beauty of Mephitic Cloud is, as long as you have like very good casting rate, you generally can get it off, you know, 1 and 2 shots or whatever. And just because of the way the zone works, it's usually enough damage. Unlike, say, a conjuration spell where you kind of need to reliably get it off a few more times than just one. Whites are immune to poison. However, they are not immune to slowing, which is a hex. So, I'm going to hex him to slow him down, then I'm going to make an imp to attack him, and then I'm going to bail. The imp is actually going to physically block his way for a while, which is kind of what I was relying on, and maybe deal a little bit of damage, who knows. I just don't intend to fight a white in my current condition where I have very low damage capabilities. This guy I'll take on. Now, there are 4 different kinds of imps you can summon, and I definitely want to go over those during the course of this vid. The red imp, or called the crimson imp, I believe. This shadow imp, who I favor the most. An iron imp, and a white imp. Not sure what the white imp is called. They each have different properties. The red imp blinks a lot and can pick up items frequently. To employ that, hit Control T, and then choose whichever of these you prefer. I usually default it to all, and if anybody wants to know how I do that, just leave a comment and I'll explain. The Shadow Imp, whenever he damn well feels like it, can cast Animate Dead. So having him around when there's a corpse nearby is a fairly good way to get an undead ally or a zombie summoned way before you would normally have access to that spell. For example, he just did it. The Shadow Imp throws its arms wide, the dead are walking, and I now have a goblin zombie. Fun part is, even when my summons disappear, the Animate Dead necromantic summons do not. So, it's kind of a more permanent source of allies, which is nice. Early game, it's a little bit too tedious to insist on raising every corpse you come across, because, you know, you have to keep casting Summon Imp until eventually you get the right one, then we'll stand around and hope that he does his thing, and if he doesn't, then who knows, you know, how long you'll end up waiting. And after you start worshipping a god, your piety starts to take a hit for just standing there that long, making it even less worth it. We're gonna run away, I don't want to fight that white. But it's certainly a nice talent to have around, and when you come across a strong enemy corpse, like, you know, you kill a Hydra or a Death Yak or something, or an elephant, it's definitely worth your while to wait around a bit longer than usual. Alright, and at this point, I'm sorry I'm not, like, explaining what I'm doing to my... What the hell? There's a centaur on the second floor? That's just weird. I'm going to attempt to take him out because I probably can pull it off thanks to Mephitic Cloud. And a healthy dose of imps to help my attack. Mephitic, and set them up to attack him. Nope, I'm out of mana. Again, beauty of not being a conjurer. Being out of mana means that my imps are going to hold him off while I run. Not, you know, just I'm now out of mana and I have to still face off against an angry centaur. And I'm returning to the fight because, you know, but for one or two miscasts, that could have gone a lot better. Oh, I didn't mention this earlier, but imps are immune to poison, that poison cloud of Mephitic Cloud, and as are zombie summons. So at this point in the game, I can spam Mephitic Cloud right on top of my minions, which is very helpful. I got an early kill on this centaur, which leveled me up faster than I would expect. I'm level 5 on floor 2, which is a huge plus, and my conjuration skill has gone up as well as a result. Given that there are 2 shadow imps here, this guy's probably going to get resurrected as a zombie, and I'm going to actually hang around for that. And there we go. He is now there. Because a centaur zombie is a very powerful zombie to have. He's very fast, he keeps up with you, he's got fairly strong melee damage output, and if I play my cards right, I can probably put him against the white, and that supplementary damage will help me kill the white. So you see, running away from the white like a coward the first 3 times actually paid off. Let's go to where the white was last seen, which was somewhere here-ish, I believe. Okay, no such luck. Let's just go downstairs. Again, zombies do not follow you from floor to floor. Summons, however, do, so, you know, for the very careful/dedicated player, you might want to actually summon something before you descend a stair every time. I don't have the patience, but, you know, good tactics are good tactics. I recently learned that you don't actually get a benefit to casting Mephitic Cloud until you have 2 levels of any given subspell, like 2 air magic or 2 poison magic. So I generally will train it up 1 more level. I'm going to actually ignore air magic for now because I don't care about it enough, but poison magic, because I like summoning scorpions later game, might be useful. So I will probably take that when eventually they offer it to me. For now, observe that my spell power is growing well. Magic Dart, I expect, is going to hit 5 with just, you know, 2 or 3 levels in Conjurations and just spell casting the rest of the way. So I'm going to turn off Conjurations pretty soon. As soon as I can get Mephitic Cloud. As soon as I can get Mephitic Cloud up to a reliable level. Because there's pretty much never going to be a point in the game where that's a bad spell. Less useful, sure. Bad, never. Again, I'm using the imps for supplementary damage capability, not as a primary attack, and this Goliath Beetle is just way too tough, so it's actually going to be better to back off here. Yeah, it's going to be better to back off. I'm actually going to use slow on the beetle before running. I failed to use it. It's okay, beetles are slow naturally, I just want him to be even slower. My god, what a resilient piece of crap that is. Alright. Off we go. Again, one of the big things to remember when playing Crawl is you do not in any way have to kill... You're in no way obligated to kill everything you come across. Pick your time, and take your time, pick your enemy, and grow consistently. That way you don't end up like the powerful mage Zap that dies when summoning his own cat. Now, just because I'm incredibly petty, these are all the armors I found so far. And these are all the weapons I found so far. And remember, as a cat, no armor whatsoever is available to you, as well as no weapons and no wands. So really, you're very limited in what items you can make use of, and you're also very limited in what items you need to care about. So it's not like a double-edged sword or anything, it's just straight up a one-edged sword, and that edge is against you. But it's kind of convenient to not have to worry about these things as often as you normally would. Notice again that I was within range of Terrence for multiple turns before I actually engaged him. Stealth really is helping, even though my stealth skill level is just like 3, but I have an innate bonus to stealth just for being, you know, a cat. Jessica didn't see me till I opened up with a conjuration spell. Moral of the story, should not have done that. This is a tough situation. I can approach Jessica, but if I do, and she shoots and hits, I will probably die because I only have 6 health. I can run I can't Mephitic Cloud her from this range. I can take my chances that A is a heal potion, and if it is, then that's the best option. Given that I have so many, I'm willing to take that bet. It was, and more importantly, Jessica wasted her time picking up a weapon, so I got a freebie. Next, I'm going to take that step towards her. Alright, I got her. Now, I could... Well, I was going to say I could, you know, summon an ally, but I probably don't need to, so I should take her on head. But somehow, while confused, she managed to fire a wand of fire directly at me. So I'm going to make sure that she's well confused and then run away again. Regen everything. Keep her confused. Now she can die. Good. Freaking annoying. So yeah, I only recently discovered that you can equip imps. But because I can do that, watch what happens. I'm going to summon a couple imps, right? A couple red imps here too. And I'm just going to wait a few turns. And they're not doing anything because they're irritating. But notice how that one picks up a dagger, another one disappears, etc. If you arm your imps, they become immensely more powerful. And as I play a Spriggan, I can't use items myself. So I have no need of all these items that are lying around. But my imps can sure make use of them. And together, we can destroy Sigmund. I hope. Yes. Sigmund is down, and I have no mana, and my minions are about to die, so I'm going to have them follow me, and then I'm going to run for the hills. It looks like we actually got a Sigmund zombie, which is nice. He's a powerful zombie, I'm sure. Or at the very least, he's wielding the powerful scythe. I'm going to keep running. The beetle will never catch me, thanks to it being as slow as it is. And I want to have the luxury of full mana before I attempt to kill it. His is as good a spot as I need to make my stand. There's the beetle. I'm going to need more damage output than I can get alone. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a solid army. And I'm just going to try and find a place, not directly in the line of fire, where I can continue to peg it with magic dart while my army does its magic. I'm pretty sure it was Sigmund. Yep, it was Sigmund that's dealing the critical hits with that scythe of his. Okie dokie. So yes, ultimately the power of this build is the versatility. With a vanilla Spriggan mage, I would not have been able to deal nearly as high damage output as I was able to spike there, because I'm making such increased use of imps. At this point, my Mephitic Cloud is already up to great, which is good, and Magic Dart's up. I'm going to go one more level of Conjurations and then turn it off. Notice that I've also turned on the Hexes School because I do want my slow to be reliable. Otherwise, one enemy that's resistant to Mephitic can really be the end of my day. Ring of Sustenance. Not the most useful item, given that I'm a cat, but at least it's not negative. So yeah, so working with that increased damage output and being creative as to when it's worth using and when it's not is definitely a plus. And having the ability to make use of the Hexes School without having to invest too much EXP into training it because of my natural aptitude, also a plus. Naturally high evade doesn't hurt either. Oh wow, that was a crit. I'm gonna hide behind my imp as I run. I'm not gonna hit there. This is stupid. I should just let the imps finish him instead of trying for an extra 5% experience. There we go. I really wanted to get that kill myself, but I was at too low health to take a risk. Yeah, that's one of the big downsides to playing a Felid. They have a naturally low HP rate. I believe it's the lowest in the game. So they'll always be one of the weaker races. But their evade is naturally really high, so they kind of encourage you not to bother with armor. And it doesn't hurt any that they don't allow you to use armor, as far as encouraging that goes. Backing up enough that I can Mephitic them. Again, I can cast Mephitic directly on top of my imps. It's not considered an aggressive move, so they're not going to start hating me. And they're immune to it, so they're not going to be confused. Fuck, I'm getting beat really bad here. Heal, and then attack Pykel. There are 3 of us versus Pykel, so I don't think he'll last much longer. There we go. He's dead. And all of my skills have leveled up, and all of those slaves become freed, which is nice too. Good, 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 good. And Ecumenical Temple. For this build, I always take Vehumet as my god. Vehumet boosts conjurations as well as summonings, and will eventually gift me books of summoning. So he's kind of a no-brainer, to be honest, because those are the major schools I'm working off of. I'm going to turn off conjurations any minute now, because if you look at my spell power, again, Magic Dart's getting closer to maxed, and Mephitic Cloud is already fairly solid, and as my spell casting keeps going up, they're just going to get better and better. They're already good enough to handle what I'm coming up against, so yeah, further investment is not merited. Incidentally, Vehumet does not in any way request or give you benefit for sacrificing corpses. So you're still free to do as much necromantic summoning as you wish with him, which is really nice. And you don't have to worry about, divvying up corpses to eat versus corpses to sacrifice. On the flip side, I kind of wish I could farm all the extra piety that you'd get out of doing corpse sacrifice. But, you take what you can. Okay. Down a floor. So, that was actually an early ecumenical temple. 4 is the earliest floor it's possible for it to appear on. And while Vehumet's altars can spawn sooner, I consider any time before level 6 to be pretty much good. And level 4 is just wonderful. It's going to mean I'm probably going to have an extra pip of piety sooner. I'm consistently finding during my runs that I'm late to achieve a tier 2 spell, a summoning spell higher than Call Imp. And Call Imp starts to be inadequate in terms of power fairly early on in the lair, in my opinion. So I find that I often have to be creative and work with whatever scenario I'm given. Like fighting here in a corridor, not as smart as fighting here, where I can bring an extra couple troops to bear. I've already begun not focusing on solo killing targets as much as I should be, given that at this point I'm able to kill with just magic dart, and that's a lot more experience. So I'm gonna try and remember bear that in mind and do that a bit better. Because eventually I'm gonna hit the point where I don't have a choice but to use my minions full time, and when that happens, I no longer will have this luxury of bonus experience. Conjurations has gone up. Let's turn it off. So now we're focusing on spellcasting, hexes, and summons. And let's focus train summons, because ultimately that's really how we're playing the game. Hexes is just a nice addendum. Slow creature, it's like hasting yourself in terms of your movement speed, and hasting all of your allies if it's 1v1 or 5v1. Again, these are just standard tactics, it's why I'm not explaining very much. You know, you walk up to stuff, you Mephitic Cloud them. The reason I casted Summon Imp right there was I was trying to get a bunch of resurrected corpses. It didn't happen. Meh, kinda sucks. I'm just gonna keep moving. It's not worth spending too much time on. Oh hey, wouldn't you look at that, an imp that isn't my ally. God, those things are irritating. Okay, my health is very low. Technically I should really just stop and regenerate it, but I'm being a little bit of a daredevil, walking without taking that much time. So cold is something that imps are especially vulnerable to, and the white imp casts Puff of Frost innately. So I have access to an elemental spell when he comes out, and it's definitely worth time. Slimes are another great example of where summoners with slow as a hex excel. I can slow them down to prevent them from reaching me. I can use allies to fob off their acid damage, and best of all, since I'm a cat, I'm actually kinda... there's no equipment to be degraded. So I don't mind attacking at melee range, just, you know, I don't like it because I'm a mage. Okay, let's hold him down. Iguana's dead. Use slow against this iguana to build my lead. Get the imp to pick up the knife before he starts attacking. And now have the imp attack. Beautiful. And that should fill me up on food. Perfect. Imp attacks freaking ant. And of course, as long as I get the kill, you know, I don't care how much damage he deals versus how much damage I deal. As long as I'm getting the kill, I get full credit. Alright, so I now have a new book, and unfortunately it's not a terribly useful one. All high level and, you know, Earth's stuff, so not for me. It's always good to know which scrolls is your blinking scroll. Buying one doubles as identifying it, and, you know, also giving you one in case you don't have any. So, I'm totally gonna buy that. And maybe I'll regret this decision later if there's something that I'm 70 gold away from. Alternatively, maybe having a blink scroll will save my life, so... yeah. Let's send the imp into combat. I can't see what's behind this wall. I'm within range of the priest, but I'm not concerned that... oh, freaking A, maybe I should have been more concerned. I figured that he couldn't deal massive damage in one turn. Turns out he can deal 50% of my life's damage in one turn. And that imp wasn't my ally either, so... drop that just to slow them down. And send an imp on an imp, so they can blink after each other until the cows come home. Again, one of the more scary creatures, but if you're able to slow them down, they become a lot less terrifying. Though, given how long it took me to pull that off, I'm actually going to send a swarm of imps against him too, just to pad out my damage capabilities. There we go. He's running. When they start running, I hit T and then F for the follow command, so that my imps all stay behind me and give me first dibs on getting the kill. That way I have the best shot at getting the full experience load. Okay, that's a fairly solid start right now to Mewtalisk the Magician. Thus far, he's managed to level up multiple times. He's hit level 8. I hope that you guys have seen just how convenient this run has been. I wouldn't say that I got extremely lucky. Quite the contrary. I came across 3 dangerous uniques on the 2nd floor alone. Harold, Sigmund, and, well, Jessica isn't a dangerous unique, but a unique. I also came across a centaur on floor 2. These are like really freaking tough enemies for early game characters to deal with. And it's not like Felids or Spriggans that they can run away or something. However, at no point was I ever in imminent risk of death. Well, I was kind of against Jessica due to a freak accident where, while confused, she zapped me. And quaffing that healing potion obviously took the edge off of it. Further, my skills are all coming along well. I have spellcasting conjurations. The initial spell book of the wizard provides me with an incredible launching point to play the game off of. I have Magic Dart. I have it, and it's dealing solid damage. I have Mephitic Cloud, which is an excellent disable and control spell. I have Slow to cover those situations where Mephitic Cloud isn't going to work. And I have Blink for an emergency teleport when I'm actually stuck. Finally, I have Call Imp, which, when Magic Dart is not sufficient damage output, can supplement the damage output. When you think about it, you can only fire a Magic Dart once per 1 mana. You can fire a Call Imp once and then have it hit every single turn for 2 mana, which is really helpful. A cluster of 6 to 7 imps, 2 of which wielding weapons, will take down a lot of the early game. So, it's a lot about setting stuff up right. And I haven't even shown you guys the more anal retentive tactics of carrying big stacks of weapons with you so you can equip your imps a priori before descending a floor. Which technically might be useful, but in practice, I mean, come on, who's going to take that kind of time? Anywho, thanks for watching thus far. This has been part 1. Hope you all enjoyed it, and look forward to more Mewtalisk run later. This is the Cat of Nine Tails quest, and thus far we are still on Life 1, Tale 1 of the Cat of Nine Tails. Thank you very much. Peace out.